Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Atmanexus. This episode marks the beginning of a new series of conversations Siddharth and I are going to share with you. Today's conversation is going to be an introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. This is a text that needs no introduction. It's one of the most profound spiritual texts ever written, and it's something that Siddharth has been studying and practicing for a number of years. And this conversation is going to be an introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, setting the scene for the following episodes where we're going to have a conversation and inquiry on each chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And as I was preparing for this conversation, I read that the Bhagavad Gita translates to the Song of God, which when I saw that, I just see so much beauty, the Song of God. And I want to start this conversation by asking you, Siddharth, what is the Bhagavad Gita and why is it still so relevant today, so long after it was first written?
First of all, thank you, Jude, for picking up this topic, which is very close to my heart. I won't say that I am an expert, because every time I read Bhagavad Gita, it's like I'm reading a new book every time. The interpretations are different every time. It teaches me something new. So coming back to your question, on paper, people will simply tell you Gita is a part of Mahabharata, a dialogue of 700 verses between Arjuna and Krishna spread across 18 chapters. That is true. But if you only see it as a book, you will miss what it really is. Bhagavad Gita is a conversation that happens at the most intense moment in human life. Just imagine, Jude, two sides of the same family are facing each other on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Pandavas on one side and the Kauravas on the other side. Arjuna, the great warrior who is on Pandava's side, asks Krishna, his charioteer, "Take my chariot between the two armies." And he wants to see who he is about to fight. Krishna does that. And in that instant, the war stops being a story and becomes a wound. Arjuna looks around and sees his own people, his own elders, his teachers, his relatives, his friends. They are not just any enemies. They are the faces that built his childhood, shaped his values, stood with him in good times and bad times, and suddenly the bow in his hands feels heavier than his entire life. His throat dries, his body trembles. He says, "How can I do this? If I fight, I destroy my own. If I step back, I abandon my duty. What kind of victory is this? What kind of dharma is this?" In that moment, Arjuna is not just a warrior. He is every one of us who has ever stood at a crossroad where every option hurts. So this is where Bhagavad Gita begins. The Gita is Krishna's response to a human being who has reached the limit to his own strength. It is not a casual lecture given by someone. It is not a motivational quote. It is the divine taking hold of a trembling mind and saying, "Let me show you who you really are, what your duty really means. How can you walk through this fire without losing your soul?" Krishna doesn't start with any tactics. He starts with truth. He tells Arjuna, "You are grieving for those who should not be grieved for." He explains that what we call death is a change of body, not the end of soul. He separates the temporary from the eternal, the body from the self, the emotion of the moment from the purpose of a lifetime. And from there, Gita becomes a complete manual of inner life. It speaks of karma, dharma, jnana, bhakti, yoga, and the teachings are endless. And Jude, one of the very famous lines or shloka of Gita is Karman yevadi karaste ma phaleshu kadachana. Your right is to your action, not to the fruits of your action. And with that one verse, Gita puts a sword through the neck of modern anxiety. We are all obsessed with results, marks, money, followers, promotions. We measure worth by what happens after we act. And the Gita gently but firmly says, focus on purity of your effort, the honesty of your duty, the sincerity of your heart. The result is not where your peace lies. Your peace lies in acting rightly and offering the outcome to something higher. So, when you ask, what is Bhagavad Gita? I would simply say it is the song of the God. Yes, but it is also the song of a human soul at the breaking point. It is a moment when a man falls to his knees on the battlefield and says, I cannot do this alone. And Divine stands beside him and says, then don't do it with me. It is a scripture that turns a battlefield into a classroom, a warrior into a seeker, and a collapse into a doorway to wisdom. If you read it sincerely, the battlefield is no longer only Arjuna's, it becomes your own. The battlefield you fight inside your mind, inside your heart, in your relationships, in your decisions. So the Gita begins in Kurukshetra, but it continues in every human life that has ever asked, what is the right thing to do? How do I find strength to do it? That is what Bhagavad Gita is. I hope this answers your question, Jude.
Yes, it does, and it gives me many more questions. And one question I want to ask now, what is the origin of the Bhagavad Gita? How old is it commonly attributed to be, the text, the scripture?
Honestly speaking, I exactly don't know, but maybe 5,000 years ago.
Approximately 5,000 years.
Yes.
And where did this wisdom come from? Who is attributed to have written the Bhagavad Gita?
So, traditionally, the Bhagavad Gita is attributed to sage Ved Vyasa. He's also known as Krishna Vyasa, or in Hindu tradition, I would say Vyasa is the compiler of the epic Mahabharata, and the Gita appears within that epic as part of the larger work. So, Krishna is the speaker of Gita in this story, Arjuna is the listener, and Rishi Vedvyasa is the sage who traditionally credited with composing and preserving it within the Mahabharata.
And you mentioned something along the lines of the text can help us all with our journey through life, and that the battlefield is within us. How does the story of Arjuna and Krishna relate to the reader?
First of all, I'll tell you what is included in Bhagavad Gita. If I talk about Bhagavad Gita, it includes the teachings on Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, the nature of the soul, the control of the mind, the selfless action, detachment from results, devotion to God, and ultimately liberation. So it does not present one narrow path alone, like, okay, you have to follow only this path, then only you will attain bliss. No, it gives you many paths according to your nature. If you want to chant, you can still reach your higher self. If you want to do your duty, because everybody is born different, so you can still reach your higher self. That is why people return to it again and again, because it speaks of action, thought, emotion, and spirit all at once. So, why this book is important? Because It speaks to the human condition itself. It deals with fear, confusion, grief, ambition, duty, attachment, and surrender. The very things people still struggle with today. I feel it is everywhere. So, Gita does not ask a person to run away from life. It teaches how to stand inside life with wisdom, how to act without becoming trapped by the result. Because the only thing we care about, like even a child cares about, is result. Okay, if I do this, what will I get? If I study this much, which rank will I get? If I study whole night, how many marks will I get? If I give this thing to somebody, we even think, okay, I'm doing charity, I will get something in return. That is also not right. If you're giving somebody something, then forget it. So, how to remain steady when the world is stable? That is what is taught by Bhagavad Gita. There are different books you can read. They'll tell you different things, the power of subconscious mind, how to speak well, and stories and everything. But what really matters, who are you truly, and what is the right way of life? That is taught by Bhagavad Gita.
Everyone is different, right? And everyone's
Yes,
journey is different, but it helps
yes,
each of us on our own unique journey. And something I heard
yeah,
in what you said is it is not rigid and limited. It opens up many different pathways which we can all use to connect to our true selves.
yes. I personally feel, Jude, I had no intentions of reading Bhagavad Gita. I always say to people when people ask me, how should I read it? Which version should I read? I simply say, you don't choose Bhagavad Gita, it chooses you when the right time comes. When you start reading it, you don't stop. But for that, you really need some patience. And when you're finding answers, when you're confused, when you're in a dilemma, automatically this enters your life, provided you are aware of it.
And how can you be so sure that the teachings are still relevant today, so long after the book was first written?
Jude, have humans stopped seeking clarity?
No.
Have students stopped facing pressure? Or do you ever stand on crossroads which decision you should take?
Every day.
So, like a student facing pressure, a professional making difficult decisions, a parent carrying responsibility, a seeker looking for peace, or a person going through emotional confusion, they are still present. So, why would this book not be relevant? Because it is not only for scholars and monks, it is for any sincere person who wants to understand how to live with depth and dignity. There are many people who are just living, but there are many other who want to give meaning to their life, who want to go into the depth, who want to connect to something which created us, want to know the mystery. So obviously this book still guide us to the right way, because these things still exist. The pressure, the anxiety, the confusions, they're never going to perish till the time human beings are there on the earth.
Is the Bhagavad Gita a pathway out of suffering?
It depends from the person who is reading it. What are you taking from it? If I talk about what do we learn from Bhagavad Gita, we learn that duty is sacred when done with sincerity. So it's still relevant. So I talk about the Jude who was living a life which everybody is living. Were you always worried about the results of your actions?
At that time, yes.
Yes.
Everything was a means to an end.
So if something you read tells you that results only give you anxiety, don't attach yourself to them. Just do your action with full sincerity. I think this solves most of our problems. It also teaches us the attachment to results creates suffering. We learn that the body changes, but the soul is deeper. We learn that the mind must be trained, not obeyed blindly. We learn that surrender is not weakness, but the higher form of inner strength. So, how will this book not be relevant in today's time? Because if somebody is experienced something and learning in 5 years, but by reading this book and understanding and going to the depth, not just reading, feeling it, I think you learn so many important lessons and you save a lot of time if you live by the ways of this book.
Yes. And we live at such a strange time in human history, right? Where stress, anxiety, depression, burnout are becoming more common by the day, it can seem. And so many people are searching for meaning and depth in their lives. And I think what you are
Yes.
touching on about focusing on the intentions behind your actions, the purity and the quality of your actions, and not being attached to the fruit. I see this in my life.
Yes.
The less attached I am to any outcome, the more beautifully and effortlessly things unfold and open. And this ancient wisdom, which has been passed down for millennia, maybe is needed more than ever now in this time of so much suffering in the world.
But it's quite difficult to convince and make people read it because it's huge, and I feel you really need to have depth in you to know yourself more to pick up this book. Because if you're just reading it for the sake of it because everybody's reading it, oh, I read Bhagavad Gita, oh, I read it daily. No, don't do it. It is not any ritual. It is not anything you have to do every day as a routine. It is something you feel, you read, you understand. And the problem is, when should we read it? So there is no specific time, but it becomes powerful, especially during moments of uncertainty, stress, sorrow, and major decision making. It is also meaningful as a daily discipline because its teaching works gradually, slowly. If you make it as a part of your discipline, but don't read it superficially, it will actually do wonders to your life. It is not a text to rush through, it is a text to revisit, reflect, and allow to shape the mind over time. So you just don't need to read it once and close it. Every time, Jude, I can vouch on this, every time you read it, you will understand something new, you will find something new.
And the way you read any book is very important, right? If you just read it as a task and for the sake of reading
Yes.
it, or because you've said you're going to read it, if you read it without
Yes.
any openness or curiosity or desire to apply what you learn in your life, then reading it can be pretty pointless. And even reading the book is a way of practicing not being attached to the fruit of your of your labor, right? Because if you are reading the book hoping with the desire of a specific outcome, you are attached to the fruits. Whereas if you are just reading it to learn and grow and expand and improve your consciousness without any attachment to the results, that's a completely different experience.
And the thing is, when you're reading it, many people take pride in just reading this. Okay, I am reading Bhagavad Gita. It's okay, read it. But even if you're reading one shlok per day, introspect on that. What is written in it? What meaning does it hold? Just don't focus on the translations given below. Okay, read them, but introspect more. You open any page of the Gita, it will give you something beautiful. If you want, in the end, I can give you some important shlokas or give you some examples of what I read. But like you said, the feeling and I would say the zeal to learn should be there. No results, nothing. You're doing it for yourself.
The zeal to learn. I love that. And I would really like to ask you, if you can put it into words, how has reading and studying the Bhagavad Gita influenced your life?
I would simply say it has brought me closer to myself. I have become more conscious of my actions. I would not say I've become a perfect person, not at all. I'm still a human, I make mistakes, but I'm more conscious of my actions. I see what am I doing? Why should I do it? And most importantly, I don't do things now because the society is doing it. This is the biggest change. I focus on my actions fully. Yes, sometimes in my subconscious mind, I have the feeling of what will be the result. but that fades away slowly because I don't care. And the quality of my action has improved. Any task I'm performing, like I'm doing yoga also, there is more awareness. When I'm talking, I used to talk so quickly that my mouth used to run more quicker than my mind. But now, if I see myself, I know how, because I was suffering from severe ADHD. And myself, I did not know that it was actually ADHD doing the thing. But just reading this book and practicing yoga and connecting more to myself, I can spend time alone like for limitless time. Earlier it was like I always wanted to be around some person or the other. But now the person I love to be around is myself. And if I have to choose and select people, I would only choose children.
Why is that?
Because I feel there are no filters there. They do what their heart says. They just focus on what they're doing right now and they don't care what's happening tomorrow. They are lively, they're smiling, and they feel every single feeling fully. There is no mask. And I think they teach us more than adults. Adults, I feel, with time they read and they learn skills, they become more hypocrites. Sorry, not to all, but yes, including myself. When I was just taking degrees and working, we've preached things we ourselves don't follow.
Is it possible for an adult to get back to that childlike state?
If they really want to, yes. If they really want to dig deeper, if they want to come out of the rat race, yes. That
What?
thing nobody can put in somebody else. I cannot go and tell somebody. You have to approach yourself to the right person. You are your own guru. Life is your own guru. You don't need to find some right person. Okay, I'll make him my guru. I'll make him my teacher. He will teach me. No, that is his way. He feels it that way. Do what your heart, your subconscious will always tell you what you're doing right or wrong. You don't need to go and seek clarity from other people. There are many self-claimed gurus everywhere. I feel guru is somebody. I don't say there are no gurus, there are. But a guru finds his own student himself, and the student chooses his guru himself. Nobody goes to a person because everybody is going. So it's very simple.
Life is the greatest guru of all. And what you said just made me think of a point which I think is really nice to mention as part of this conversation, is not to just blindly follow everything you read in the Bhagavad Gita, but use it. It's hard to put this into words, but I feel like reading texts like this, it is not actually teaching you anything. It is just helping you remember things you already know and remember and reconnect with who you truly are. What are your thoughts on this?
And what you said, it actually makes sense and it's true also. Don't blindly read and follow. I myself say this. I have read so many versions. Introspect on that. One shlok, one line of Gita can hold different meaning for me and you, but it will solve the purposes of both of us. So it is just an accelerator for your life. It is just something to bring you back to the right track if you want to. And if you're reading it blindly, okay, I am doing some good karma. This karma is going to my bank. Okay, it will be safe. Now I'll go to heaven. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Read it because you want to read it. Read it as if nobody is watching you read it. Introspect on it and don't go and start preaching when you read it. No need to do that. Because if somebody is not interested, they will think of you as a fool. Read it, keep it with you. Right person who wants to share spirituality with you will approach you yourself, and the people in your life will start getting segregated because you have chosen a path. So you will only attract people who will on the same path. Then you can do your exchange because that will be valued, and that other person will add something new to your existing knowledge. That's how it should be, because reading the book will first of all cleanse you. Then it will cleanse your surroundings, the people you surround yourself with. I don't say avoid your family, avoid your people. No, but Just know how much time I need to give to these people, how much time I need for myself. Am I taking some wrong energy or learning something wrong? Just slowly walk away. Don't hate anybody because they are not on this path. They are not reading Bhagavad Gita. They are not doing anything spiritual. Don't hate, because then also the essence comes to zero. If you're judging because you think I have become somebody superior by reading this book, or I'm by myself, I can give so much of knowledge to other, then also you are wrong. The moment you start judging, the moment you get angry, the moment you want to control people, okay, this should go according to me, then I feel spirituality is not serving the purpose in your life. It is only making your ego grow more.
Watch out for the spiritual ego.
Yes, absolutely. And it is very strong. It doesn't even make you realize that it's there.
We've mentioned it a few times in this conversation. Can you give an example of what it means to not be attached to the fruit of your actions?
I'll give you a very simple example. When we have exams, Jude, do we focus more on studying, or our focus is more in the fear of the results?
It depends on the person.
But most of the people you see around, even the person who is scholarly person, is he not worried about the results?
Yeah, most people are focused on the result or the grade that they're going to get.
So what does it bring when you worry about the results?
Anxiety and fear.
We were always told by the society, please focus on the results, then only you'll study harder. But when we focus on the results as per the conditioning of the society, it only brings anxiety. And do we not see, be it the result of an office problem, school problem, college problem, even in a family, whenever we worry about what's going to happen next, future is beyond your control. Even you have studied so well, something will happen. Maybe you miss out on your exam. Anything can happen. So when you do not attach yourself to what is going to happen in future, the result, you enjoy that journey more. As you said, journey is the reward. You don't live. You could have enjoyed studying that topic so beautifully well if you would not have to give that exam. I would simply say not attaching yourself to what's happening in future, which is beyond your control, simply solves most of your problems because you are being present.
Is living in the present moment something that is mentioned frequently in the Bhagavad Gita?
It's mentioned in hidden forms, like when we talked about karma yoga, like you talk about anything, even if you're worshipping God, when you're chanting, mantra chanting, presence is mentioned in different forms in Bhagavad Gita. Even if we talk about yoga mentioned in that, then also it talks about presence, but in a different form.
How is yoga included in the Bhagavad Gita?
There are various shloks related to yoga in the Bhagavad Gita. The one I remember is Yogastha Kuru Karmani Sadgam Tyaktva Dhananjay. This means remain established in yoga and perform your actions without attachment. This is a beautiful teaching for anyone who wants to work sincerely without becoming mentally enslaved to success. So it is not just typically talking about the yoga we are doing. It's talking about normal essence of yoga. So doing any action, just remain established in yoga. Your mind, body, soul should be aligned very well.
Yeah, this is the introduction. Can you set the scene for the following 20 episodes we're going to release on the Bhagavad Gita? I want to know your vision of why we are having these inquiries and sharing the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, why it is important, and how it has the potential to positively impact the listeners' lives.
I would simply say, including myself, there are many people who want to read it but find it hard to read. And there are a lot of shlokas. Some people do not want to read them and want to know the essence and meaning behind the shlokas. So for them, I was thinking to release some episodes on the understanding of my Gita, what some neutral stances and something which I have inferred. I was always thinking, and suddenly life happened, and I met you, and we started talking about these topics, and we are right here. So I want for those people who want to read Gita but do not have time or because of their schedule, or maybe for people who tried reading it but could not understand the essence of it, this series is for people to listen, understand, and we are open to inquiries. You can write to us, give us more what you felt, and we can bring more episodes on what were your inputs and what did you get from this, or if you want to add something to this. So it is for every person who is struggling with time, who has the zeal to explore Gita but hasn't been able to do so due to XYZ reasons. And if I
Wonderful.
talk about somebody who's thinking, why should I read? So I would simply say, because this book doesn't merely answer questions, it changes the one who is asking them. It teaches how to act with courage, how to think with clarity, how to live without bondage to results, and how to stand in the world without losing your inner peace. The Gita begins in Arjuna's breakdown, but it ends in Krishna's clarity. That is why people continue to return to it, because every human being in some form stands on that battlefield.
The battlefield is within us.
Yes.
Very, very good. Thank you for your time today, Siddharth. Thank you to everyone who has listened. Wishing you all a beautiful day ahead. Follow your heart. Choose love over fear. Choose courage over your comfort zone. And enjoy life. It will be over in the blink of an eye. So seize life every day. This is Atmanexus. Over and out.